This conference will now be recorded.
Thank you. Is it day 10 or day 11, guys? Day 9, day 10. Somebody is keeping track of it? Day 10 or day 11 or something like that?
11, I think so.
Day 10.
Day 11, sir.
Day 11.
Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. I'm just, saving the notes. So accordingly, I'll save that notes. So today is day 11, obviously. Okay. So wonderful, guys. So anything that you could remember from yesterday, let's have a quick recap, guys. I know the class was a little delayed today because of the new link. I couldn't figure it out. Okay. So yeah, can you please let me know? But from tomorrow onwards, let's try to come on time to the class. Okay. So yeah, anything that you could remember from yesterday, guys?
Yes, sir. Yesterday we were discussed about the kinds of user acceptance testing, like alpha testing and beta testing.
Okay, so in
System
this we
level
have
testing,
alpha
system
and
integration
beta.
testing.
Okay, so wonderful, alpha and beta. But before this, system testing is done. Okay,
Yeah.
system
And
level.
SIT,
So system level
system
testing, there are
integration
two things. Yeah, system testing will be there and system integration testing will
Integration
be there.
testing.
Okay, so this is what it is. This is pretty much what we have discussed yesterday. Okay, so today we're gonna discuss about. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm not sharing my screen. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I hope I've started the recording, right? Yes, I've started the recording. Wonderful, guys. So this is what it is, guys. So this is what I've just typed, without sharing the screen. But anyways, you are aware of this, whatever I've discussed yesterday. So the different levels of testing is covered now. Okay, but some of them are alpha, some of them are beta testing. Sorry, some of them are black box testing and some of them are white box testing. This UI testing, is it a black box testing or a white box testing, guys? But by the way, who does this UAT testing generally? Who is responsible for doing the UAT testing?
Business analyst or end user.
Wonderful. Generally, it's a
in
business
alpha
analyst if
testing,
it's
it is
alpha.
business analyst.
Wow, superb. Okay, and it's a beta testing. It's the end user. Okay.
End
user.
Okay. So this is the end. So is this a black box testing or a white box testing?
Alpha test is
Wonderful.
beta
Dipali.
testing.
It's black
Black box testing, sir.
Okay, it's
Both are
black box
black
testing.
box.
Both are black box testing. And system testing and system integration testing, is it black box or white box testing?
It's a black box.
Okay, I'll say BB, but in the real world they don't call it BB. Okay, anyways, I'm just I'm lazy to type it. Okay, this is black box testing. Okay, so generally you don't need any knowledge of coding. So anything that where you don't need any knowledge of coding, we can blindly call it as a black box testing. Okay, so this is what is the black box testing, guys. Wonderful. Okay, now we'll discuss about different SDLC models. Okay, we'll discuss about different SDLC models. Okay, so let's not spend too much on this because as a software engineer, you need to be aware of these models. Okay, but I'll cover few of them, and the others I expect that you go to internet and research it from the YouTube and explore them and try to understand from there. But the important ones I'll try to cover as much as I could. Okay, but again, if something you're not able to understand, if I'm going fast, please let me know. Okay, so that I'll slow down a little bit. Okay, so in the SDLC model, what is SDLC stands for? Full form?
Software development
Software
lifecycle.
development life cycle.
Okay, life cycle. Okay, so what are these models, sir? I'm aware of already the SDLC. What are these models? Okay, first tell me different stages of SDLC. Somebody unmute themselves and tell me what is the first stage.
Requirement analysis.
Requirement gathering.
Okay,
Analysis.
Analysis.
then
Design.
Design phase.
Development. High level.
Development.
Low level.
okay, wonderful. High level design, low level design, coding.
Coding.
Then
Testing.
Testing. Integration.
Delivery and
Delivery and
maintenance.
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 Delivery and maintenance.
Okay, thank you guys. Okay, now how these different phases are organized will tell you models. Okay, what model it is. For example, okay, so I didn't get any clarity as to what you're talking about when you said SDLC models. Okay, I'll give you a simple example using which you will be able to understand. Let's say it's your birthday and you're going out to party with your friends. Okay, the plan is watch movie. Okay, that is one phase or one thing that you do. Okay, shopping. Okay, and food. Okay, and play. There is a play area, right? Okay, you understand by the thing bowling, by the game called bowling, or you understand what I meant when I said bowling?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all of you, have you done this bowling before?
Yes, sir.
Okay, have you seen something like this before, or at least in the movies or something? Have you seen this? Okay,
Yes, sir.
this is what is called bowling. Okay, once you become a software engineer and maybe go to US or anywhere, you get used to this. Okay, so if you haven't done it, but if you have already done it, it's beautiful. Okay, this game is called bowling, and once you get used to this, now you feel like you wanted to play again and again and again. Okay, it is one such game, wherein you become really addictive. Okay, anyways, so these are the four things you wanted to do. So somebody in your friends said, okay, first we will watch the movie. Okay, then we will have the food. Okay, then you go for we will play with the bowling. Okay, finally, then we will play bowling. Okay, once we are tired and everything, then we will go do the shopping. Okay, this is what one of your friends suggested. Okay, what he suggested is, once you're done with one thing, please mute yourself, guys. When you have questions, I don't have a problem you unmuting, but definitely when you don't have questions, you are disturbing others. Okay, okay, I'm muting you all. If you have any questions, please unmute yourself. Okay, this is after one task is done, you're starting the next task, which is done, then you're starting the next task. BOLING. Okay, then bowling. Okay, L should be here. Okay, then you're doing the next task. So what another friend suggested is, okay, we watch the movie. Okay, while watching itself we will have the food. Okay, in the break we will go do certain shopping. Okay, we'll go do certain shopping, and after the entire movie is done, we will complete the remaining shopping, and finally we will go with the bowling. Okay, finally we'll go with the bowling. Okay, you're understanding what I'm saying? Okay, so while watching itself, you are having your food, because these days multiplexes have that, and in the break you're going to the shopping, then you will end watching the movie. Okay, then you complete the remaining shopping, and then you are going for the bowling. This is another model. This is one model. You're understanding, guys, what I'm saying? All of you? All of you? Okay, so one of the other friends said, okay, let's watch the movie completely, then we do little bit of food. Okay, so little bit of food, then little bit of shopping. Okay, then maybe one game of bowling. Okay, and once this is done, then we will go ahead and eat the food again, the second iteration, which is again eat the food. Okay, so this is your first iteration. You have completed your first iteration, then you are starting the second iteration, have little bit of food and do little bit of shopping, maybe buy trousers or whatever it is. Okay, then okay, then buy trousers or whatever it is. Then we go the second game of bowling. Okay, then you start the third iteration, have more food. Okay, and this time around shopping, you do belts or tie or whatever it is, then you do the third game of bowling. Okay, third game of bowling. Okay, so this is another game. This is your first iteration, sorry, this is your first iteration, this is your second iteration, this is your third iteration. Somebody else, another friend, has suggested this model. This is a different model of doing the same task. By the end of the day, you will be completing all these four tasks, whether you're going with the first model or whether you're going with the second model or whether you're going with the third model. Different people have suggested different models. Similarly, we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 phases. How we organize these 6 phases will tell you which model you follow. Okay, here we have 4 tasks. How you are handling this or organizing these 4 tasks will define which model you are going ahead with. Okay, similarly, by the whichever model you are going ahead with, you will be completing all the 4 tasks, Similarly, here also there are 6 phases in the SDLC. How you will organize these 6 phases define which model you are following. Okay, but whichever model you are doing it, okay, you will be completing all the 6 phases. But certain models are good for certain things, certain models are not so good for certain things. Okay, and understand guys, all of you? Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, let's go ahead and get started guys. What do you say? Okay, wonderful. But you understood what I am getting into when I said SDLC models? At least you understood what I am about to teach, or why there are different models, guys? Okay, 1 is yes, 2 is no. Kumar sir, I haven't understood anything. Get started. No, Syed says you haven't understood. Okay, so what I'm saying is you have 4 tasks. Okay, how you organize these 4 tasks will tell you which model you are using. Okay, so just like the food, shopping, bowling is like how you have organized. Okay, there are different models your friend came out with, so you will select whichever model you want. Similarly, there are 5 phases in software development life cycle. How you will organize these 5 phases, define which model you will be using. Okay, now I will tell you with the waterfall model. Okay, so which is the oldest model. Okay, the waterfall model, I don't know if there is a space over here, I'm not quite sure. Okay, so this is what a first model. Okay, the first model which I will discuss. Again, I will be discussing only important models. Okay, there are other models which I'm not discussing, which I will expect that you will go back to online and search and scale up on those models. Okay, or talk about those models. Okay, but okay, I'll be talking about the most important models. Okay, the one which is very important for you, I'll talk about those models. Okay, wonderful. Now I'll start with the waterfall model. Okay, so the waterfall model is very simple guys. Okay, first you will complete the first stage. Okay, it is just like your first phase over here. You complete watch movie, and then once the entire thing is done, you went to the task 2. Once the entire thing is done, then you go to the task 3, and once this is done, you go to the task 4. Waterfall model is exactly like that. Okay, once the complete requirement gathering is done, then you go to the analysis phase. Once that is done, then you go to the design phase, and once that is done completely, then you go to the coding phase, and once that is done, you go to the testing phase, and once this is entirely done, you go to the delivery and maintenance phase. Okay, so most likely when you're doing the waterfall model, the testers, let's say you have started this project on March 2022. Okay, now by the time the testing phase has come, let's say it is August 2022. Okay, so they will hire the testers, or they will get the testers, somebody who is on the bench. They will get the testers just before starting the testing in August 2022. They are not involved from March 2022. There are certain tasks that has been done between March and August where the testing team is not aware of, or will not be bringing, or the actual testers are not involved in all these things. So when you are hired, or you are brought into the project somewhere in the August while the testing phase is happening, and then immediately then you will be given the requirement gathering BRS document and SRS document. Then you will ask you to go through and start writing the test cases and executing it. So you are not involving from the first stage. None of the testers are involved in any of these phases. Only while the testing is started, just before that, you are hired or moved from bench to the project, and then you will be given the SRS, CRS documents and BRS documents that has been already done. You will be reading it, and then you will be testing it. Okay, you got this picture guys? Earlier I haven't told you, all this while I told you that yes, as soon as the requirement gathering is done, the testing team will be given the BRS document. You will talk to the whoever business analyst or blah blah blah, and then rectify the things and be ready. Okay, that's what I've been telling you. But that doesn't happen in the waterfall model. The waterfall model is something where just before the testing you will be hired, or you will be moved from bench to the project code or during the project, and then you will start reading the documents, the BRS document or SRS documents, and scale up and start writing the testing and do your testing. Okay, so this is what is the waterfall model. Once the entire phase is done, it goes to the next phase. Yes, there are a lot of disadvantages. Once this is done, nobody is involved, then the business analyst, business system analyst goes to this analysis phase. If he has any questions, then he at that point of time he will put the things back to the requirement gathering phase, wherein they have to clear and all that. So things are not happening parallelly, things are happening sequentially over here. Okay, if I have to draw a picture, okay, so it is like your waterfall. Okay, this is your coding, this is your testing, and this is your delivery and maintenance. Okay, so how many stages are there total? 1 2 3 4 5 6. 1 2 3 4 5 6. So you have what? You have the requirement gathering phase. Okay, then you have what? Analysis phase. Okay, then you have what? Coding phase. Then you have what? Oh, this is what? This is a coding? Yeah, design phase, sorry. Okay, so you have the design phase. Okay, then you have the testing phase, and you have the delivery and maintenance. Delivery and maintenance. Okay, so once the complete thing is done, then it goes to the new stage. Here the business system analyst will take the requirements. Business system analyst will take the BRS document and then complete the SRS document. During this phase, the developers are not involved. After this entire thing is done, now it goes to the design phase, where the architect will be looking at it, and then if he has any doubts after this stage, then he will push those we'll push those questions back to the analysis phase, and they have any questions, then they will be pushing back to the what is that, business analyst. So here the things are like, they might go backward, and then the things will have to start all over again, and this business analyst will have to go back and talk to the client if required as well. If the questions posted by the technical manager are very valid and they don't have it, then it will go upwards. And while the coding is done, if they have any questions, they will go to the architect will go to the business system analyst, who will go to the business analyst. But this is being done sequentially, which means that after whole of this is done, it goes to this phase. After whole of this is done, it goes to this phase. After whole of this is done, it goes to this phase. There is no parallel activity. So somewhere, let's say this is happening in March, okay, and the coding has started sometime in, let's say, June. Okay, now at the June, all the developers will be given all the documents and they started the work. Now they have questions, they will post it back to the business analyst, and then this guy doesn't know, he will go to the client, he will get those things, and if there is any clarifications required or any changes needs to be done, he will change it, which means that the business system analyst has to change in the SRS document, and these guys have to change accordingly. The design has to change, and accordingly the coding will be done. So many changes will be done. Okay, because the things are not happening parallelly. If there was any sense, or if it was a good model, okay, then while the document, as soon as it's done, it will be distributed to the developers and all those, so that if they have any questions, they can post it right away to the business analyst in the March itself, not in the June when so much work is done. If the developers were involved in this phase, in the requirement gathering phase itself, in the March itself, as soon as the document is out, the developers will be reading it, and if they have any questions or anything, they would have posted it to the business analyst, whoever it is, and the things would have been much more simpler. Okay, or the doubts should have been clarified then and there itself, and if there are any changes needs to be done, it will be done in the March itself. But in this waterfall model, see the changes now in the June. Okay, let's say the testing has happened in the testing is happening, let's say, in September, okay, or September or October. Now generally the testing teams will have a lot of questions. They will be doing the business BRS documents and SRS documents, and then once they have the questions, they will post it to them, and if those questions are very valid and some changes needs to be done, in October the changes will be done. Ideally, if the testing team would have been involved in the March, they would have done in the March itself. But now it is being done in October, and all the documents needs to be changed. So much of rework needs to be done. The BRS document will be changed accordingly. SRS document will be changed, and sometimes even the design needs to be changed. Definitely, maybe HLD might not be changed, but the low-level design might have to be changed accordingly. The coding needs to be changed. So this waterfall model is an archaic, it's an old archaic model. Nobody is using it right now. Okay, the days are gone where the waterfall model is being used. Okay, so I don't think any company is using it for the same reason that I have told you. Okay, something where the testing team would have been involved at the earlier stages, all the issues would have been caught at the early stages, which means that the changes which needs to be done in March will be done in the March itself. But if they are being done in the October, everybody will, I mean, it affects the whole project timelines, and everybody has to redo the work, and everything will change. BRS is changed, then SRS will change, the design will change, then the coding will change. So much of rework will be done. But this is the biggest problem with the waterfall model. Okay, so everybody understood what I'm saying, guys? Or I have to repeat something here? Okay, now
Yes, sir.
Kumar sir, if this is the problem, then why they are using it? Nobody is using this model anymore. Okay, just for educational purposes, I have covered it just for the sake of covering. But who is using it? Nobody is using it. Okay. Okay, so there are some advantages to it. Again, just to for what do you say, like, just for the sake of understanding or knowing it, we will know it, but nobody is using it. But still we will try to understand the advantages and disadvantages of it. Kumar sir, nobody is using it. What is the point understanding the advantages? Again, as I've told you, some interviewers, who might want to ask the questions, they might ask the questions even though nobody is using it. So I'll come out with the advantages. First is, it is a very, very simple model. It is a very simple model, no complexities. Okay, in terms of implementing it, after the one stage is done, the whole stage, then you go with the next one. Okay, now, okay, project monitoring. Okay, and project monitoring is easy. Okay, which means that your manager, whoever is managing the whole project, we call them as the program manager. What do we call them as? Program manager. The manager who manages the whole end to end, right from the requirement gathering all the way to delivery. There will be one manager who will be managing the whole project. He will be called as a program manager in generally, but every single guy will have their own manager. Like testing, there is a testing manager. Developer, there is a dev manager. Okay, similarly for every field there is a manager over there. Those are project managers. Okay, we call them as PMs. Okay, testing manager is a project manager, dev manager is a project manager, but for the whole program we have a manager called program manager. Okay, so for this program manager, the whole monitoring is very, very easy because this is very, very simple model. Okay, though no complexities. Okay, now what is the biggest disadvantage? Okay, what is the biggest disadvantage is, it takes a lot of time. Okay, lot of time for the project to be done. Okay, once this whole thing is done, because the things are not happening parallelly, they are happening sequentially, obviously the time taken will be more. You understand, guys? Okay, so let's assume that, okay, you're combing your hair and eating the food at the same time, you will get ready faster. Okay, so you're dressing up at the same time, and then taking your medicines or whatever it is parallelly, then getting ready will take less time. Okay, but peacefully you're doing one task, which is completely combing your head, then dressing yourself, then after the whole dressing is done, then you eat food, and after the whole thing is done, then you tie your shoes or belt or whatever it is, then go. That is sequential model, which will take some time. Okay, which will take more time, but the things are happening parallelly, wherein, okay, you ask your wife to pick up the what do you say, like pick up the phone and the tiffin box and the car keys, everything, keep it ready while you're dressing up, and while you're dressing itself, make the food ready, or having your wife eat the food, or mother, feed you, things are happening parallelly, then the things, the time taken to get ready will be lesser. Okay, but here the things are happening sequentially. After the whole thing, one thing is done, you're starting the other thing. Things are not happening parallelly. So definitely to implement the project, okay, to implement the project, okay, the time taken is more. Okay, time taken is more. Okay, time taken is more. Okay, okay. But is this used anywhere? I don't know anybody is using this waterfall. Again, I'm telling you, if there is somebody is using it, they have to wake up and see like what is happening in the real world, and then start using the newer models. Okay. And one more thing, one more problem with this one is generally this goes for 1 year, 2 years. I've seen the waterfall models, they go for 1 year or even 2 years. Okay, this is with my experience. Again, don't take this as a what do you say, like, the standard time or every single project is like this, but this is my take on this, with my experience. Okay, generally after 6 months the client thinks that, okay, 6 months, okay, client think that, okay, there is a login screen, okay, for which you have the username field and password field. Okay, but also you will give one more option called login with Google. Okay, this option also he wants to give. These days you're getting this option, huh? You can either register and then enter the username password, or you can log in with Google or log in with Facebook credentials. Are you aware of this one? Okay, you can log in with the Google credentials or Facebook credentials. So he wants to add this feature. Earlier, 1 year back, when he has given the requirements, only he has given the login screen with username and password. But 6 months down the lane, he saw some website where they're giving a cool options of logging in with Google and logging with the Google credentials and logging in with Facebook credentials. Okay, he wants to implement it. By that time the project has already started, and after 6 months, okay, maybe they are in the design phase. Now with this SDLC, they cannot change, they cannot take this change request. What we call this as a change request. What do we call this as? Change request. Okay, change request by the client. Okay, what is the change request? Earlier, okay, only login with the username and password. Now what? Okay, this should be there, but along with this additional features needs to be added. So there is a change request from the client. So this model, okay, this model will not accept those change requests, because once you have done something, you're going ahead, you're somewhere in the middle. Now you cannot go back to the first phase and change it, which is very, very difficult. For after the whole project is done, the whole release is done, for the next release they can change, they can take these additional features and implement it. So this change request, whatever you're talking about, it cannot be done, which is the huge disadvantage. Okay, change request by the client cannot be entertained or cannot be taken in this model, because the model itself will not support. Okay, cannot be taken. Okay, so these are the biggest disadvantages. One is the time taken. Because of this, nobody will go for this model. Even if somebody is using it, yes, they might be using it. Okay, generally the change request in the middle of the project is not entertained. So it is little difficult for the client to digest that fact, because they are the ones who is giving lot of money to get this project done, and if they want some additional features, we cannot give it to them at the halfway through. So they might not like this model, the client might not like it, so people might not use this model. Okay, have you understood this waterfall model, guys? Everybody, have you understood this waterfall model? Okay, I want all of you to let me know. Okay, superb. Okay, now okay, I will go with the next model. This is when you will understand uh, why waterfall model is not so good. Okay, so we will go with the next model, okay, which we call it as the spiral model. Okay, somebody has unmuted themselves. Any questions? Okay, so now we will go and talk about the spiral model, guys. I hope you are looking at my screen. Okay, spiral model. Okay, anybody has a questions? No, wonderful. Okay, now I don't know how I can draw this spiral here. Maybe online, if I have to draw a curve. Okay, maybe with this one I can draw a curve, I believe. No, okay, this I'll have to take this one. Okay, I can draw the curves like this. Okay, fine, fine. Okay, now, okay, let me, okay, the spiral model. Okay, so the first stage, requirement gathering. Okay, okay, requirement gathering phase, RGP I'll call it as. Okay, in the real world that's not what people call it, guys, but I am lazy enough, so I'm calling it as RGP. This is the analysis phase. After the analysis phase, what is the phase, guys? Design phase. Okay, then after the design phase, what is the phase, guys? Okay, coding phase. Okay, okay, after the coding we have testing.
Testing,
After testing we have, okay,
delivery,
delivery,
maintenance,
delivery, and then
admin.
maintenance. Okay, maintenance phase, and finally need to enhance. Okay, need to, everybody understands by the meaning of enhance? Everybody understands by the meaning of enhance? All of you? Enhancing? Can somebody unmute yourselves and tell me? Enhance is make it better. What is it? Enhance means make it better. Okay, जो भी है उसको अच्छा करना है. Okay, जो भी है उसको बढ़ाना है. Like, you know, we have to enhance it, improve it, modify. But modification can be enhanced, or it can be, you know, it can be degrading as well. Okay, but generally enhance means you are improving the things. Okay, you are improving the things for better. Okay, so generally, okay, I'll talk, this model is useful when there is lot of enhancements, regularly there are enhancements, then this model is pretty good for you. Okay, so now let's go ahead and start looking into the spiral model first. Okay, the first, what will happen first? The requirement gathering will happen. Okay, so let me use this one. Okay, requirement gathering will happen this phase. Okay, so then obviously, okay, okay, requirement gathering is done. Okay, now why is this happening like this? Okay, I haven't used this before, this feature. Okay, first requirement gathering is done. Okay, now 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 then analysis is done. Okay, analysis is done. Why it is happening like this? Okay, then analysis is done. Okay, then then you have the design is done. Okay, please ignore this, you know, fancy things that is happening right now. It is supposed to come as a spiral, but it's not happening. Okay, so I'm trying my level best. Okay, so then the design phase, then the coding phase. Okay, then the coding phase. Okay, then you have the testing phase. Okay, this is what is happening generally, na? So testing phase, then you have the delivery. Okay, then you have the delivery. Okay, okay, then you have the delivery, then you have the maintenance. Okay, then you have the maintenance. Okay, okay, after the whole thing is done, now they want to enhance this project more, as I've told you. Okay, there is this login feature, okay, where they have to enhance it. Okay, all those enhancements, okay, the client will tell you. Okay, once you take up all the enhancements, then again the requirement gathering of the enhancements. Okay, the requirement gathering of the enhancements, then then accordingly you will come out with the analysis of that one. Okay, accordingly you will come out with the analysis. Okay, then 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 the design phase. Okay, then the design phase. Okay, then the coding of these enhancements, whatever the enhancements has been decided. Okay, then the testing of these enhancements. Okay, then the testing of these enhancements, then the delivery of the new product which contains the enhancements, and then again the maintenance. Okay, again the maintenance. Again the client said that, okay, I have few more enhancements. Now the next cycle will start, and on this addition or the new enhancements, again the requirement gathering is done. Okay, and again the analysis. So this is the spiral model, guys. Are you understanding? This is the first cycle, then this is the second cycle, then there is a third cycle. Like this there will be four cycle. So this is what we call it as the spiral model. This is what we call it as the spiral model. Okay, are we okay with this, guys? Okay, are we okay with this one? Okay, everybody understood this? Okay, when the project, when the requirements are not clear, the client is not 100% clear, and every time he's changing, he's thinking of changing the requirements or enhancing it better, modifying the current things, okay, to make it better. Okay, you can modify the current things to make it better, or add the additional features to make it better. Whatever he wants to do, okay, he wants to enhance it regularly all the time. So if that is the case, spiral model is used. Okay, understood, guys, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so every model should have an advantage, disadvantage as well. Okay, advantages is, first thing is, yes, it will allow for enhancements. Okay, so it could be your modifications and all that. Okay, but there are a lot of disadvantages with this one. Okay, lot of disadvantages. Find first is time consuming. Okay, just like before, just like waterfall model, this is also time consuming, because after one task is done, you are starting the next task. After this is done, you are starting the next task. So this is just like waterfall model, so it is time consuming model. Okay, and monitoring is little tough. Okay, monitoring is little tough. Okay, is little tough or little difficult. Okay, so or I can't say difficult. Okay, and generally this is a costly one, because whenever there is more time, always remember, if it is time consuming, it is costly. Okay, let's say if a model in model 1 you complete the project in 6 months. Okay, in model 2, okay, you're completing the project in 12 months. Okay, so which model will have, okay, which model will have, which model will be expensive, and which model will be costly, and which model will be cheaper? Can you please tell me? By the end of this, you will have the same product. Okay, but this model is taking 6 months, this model is taking 12 months. Which one will be expensive, model 1 or model 2?
Model 1.
Model 2 will be expensive, brother, because here to the developer you pay only 6 months of salary. Here for the developer you pay 12 months of salary. Here to the testers you pay only 6 months of salary. Here to the developers you have to pay 12 months of salary. Not only developers, testers, all the people who are involved, project managers, program managers, business analysts, business development managers, whoever is there, all of them, here the salaries will be half. Here the salaries will be half. Every time that this, if it's time consuming, the project is typically costly. Typically costly. I mean, does it make logically sense to you guys, whatever I'm saying? All of you guys, does it make logic? Hang on, guys, my tea completely spill over, so hang on, just to give me one moment. Okay, just to give me one moment. Sorry about that. Okay, now tell me. Okay, hang on 1 second, please. Okay, so are you able to hear me, guys? All of you, are you able to hear me? Okay,
Yes, sir.
so always if it's more time, the more time it is taking, the project will become that much expensive for the obvious reasons that I have told you. Okay, now are you clear with this both the models, guys, so far? Spiral model and the waterfall model, all of you? Okay, so once the first phase is done, you go with the second stage. Okay, now there is something called incremental model. Okay, incremental model. Okay, I'll tell you this one. This is very, very good. Okay, okay, so you see, okay, I'll draw the picture and somebody should tell me what this means. Okay, okay, I'm drawing a graph here. I'm drawing a graph here. Okay, on the x-axis, I have the time. Okay, I have the time. Okay, on the y-axis I have the iterations. Okay, iterations. Okay, by the way, everybody understands by the word iteration, because earlier also I've used the word iteration here. Okay, somewhere here I've used the iteration word. Okay, so okay, I've deleted all that stuff from here, but everybody understands by the word iteration. Kavita, I don't think anybody is using, and I'm not quite sure because I don't work for so many companies, and no company will tell you that we are using this model. But again, this model, I don't think anybody is using, to be honest. Again, okay, I'll tell you which model these days everybody is using. That's when you can, talk. We can talk about it. This is just for the sake of learning it. Maybe they might ask in the interview, or maybe for you to know as well, which is good. That's why I'm covering this. Models. Okay, but generally right now agile scrum is used everywhere. That's why I've sent you the video yesterday. Okay, I've asked you to watch that video, all of you, because that is what is the most happening thing right now. Okay, and also the V model, which I will cover little later. Okay, now coming back to this, Kavita, so everybody understands by the word iteration. Okay, I want to tell, okay, repetition of process, but somebody doesn't understand by the word iteration. Tell me, guys. Iteration, when I said iteration, everybody understands? Everybody understands? Somebody said no. Okay, in the earlier example I have spoken about the movie, right? Okay, so what I've said, first you will have little bit of food, then you
It's
go do the
version, sir.
no, no, no. Okay, doing the same thing again and again. Okay, so you see, same task again and again. Okay, you go for the shopping, maybe you have bought a shirt. Okay, and then you go do the bowling of one game. Okay, you complete one game. Now this is your first iteration, and gaming is done. Again you went and have little bit of more food from somewhere else. Then this time around you did the shopping, but again, shopping, what you have done, you have bought the trousers. Okay, then again you went for the bowling and completed the second game, or do the second game. Okay, so this is your second iteration. You're doing the same tasks, but you're doing the same task here. That was the first iteration. You're repeating the same tasks again. This is your second iteration, and again you might repeat the same task again, which will be your third iteration. Okay, which is your third iteration. Are you understanding, guys? So repeating the same task over and over again, okay, is nothing but iterations. Are you understanding, guys? Are you understanding now, at least, what it is? Got it? Okay, now I will explain these things to you. Okay, so very carefully, look at me very carefully. Okay, first, what is the task you have? You have requirement gathering. Okay, so requirement gathering. Okay, requirement gathering. Then you have what? Design, oh sorry, analysis. Okay, then you have what? Design. Okay, then you have what? Coding. Okay, coding. Okay, then you have what? Testing. Then you have what? uh, okay, D&M. D&M means delivery and maintenance. Okay, delivery and maintenance. Okay, wonderful. So let's say this is January and this is December. Okay, or not, let's say this is January where the actual project has started. Okay, so this is January, the timeline where the requirement gathering phase is done. Okay, and the delivery and maintenance, let's say uh, this is September. Okay, September. Okay, so when you have started the project in the January with the requirement gathering phase, okay, and when you have completed it, okay, when you have completed it, this is your time. Okay, this is your time. Okay, so when you have completed it, September, but this is my iteration one. Okay, iteration one, this is my iteration one. Okay, I'll say IT1. Okay, iteration one. Okay, so now after the project has started, what the client has given again, there is a new requirements it is given. Okay, the client has given what, some new requirements. If it was a spiral model, after the entire thing is done, okay, then all the new enhancements will be taken. Here it is not like that. Okay, again the new features or whatever it is, okay, it will be taken immediately whenever he gives you. Probably in February he has given. Okay, that will be your iteration 2. Okay, that will be your iteration 2. Okay, now you see sometime in the February itself, okay, the iteration 2 has started. Okay, things are happening parallelly, okay, whatever the new features have been gathered, that will be gathered in February, and all the things will be going parallel with along with this. And finally there is an one first delivery and maintenance happens in September, the second delivery maintenance, okay, will happen maybe in September, October. Okay, like this the things will happen in an iterative mode parallelly. This is what is called, okay, this is what we call it as incremental model. This is what we call it as a incremental model. Okay, okay, this is what we call it as incremental model. Okay, okay, again, is this done? Yes, this is being used, but a modified version of incremental model is used. We call it as Scrum, which I will cover later, Kavita. Okay, I know you will be asking that question, sir. This is being used right now. Yes, it is being used right now, which we call it as Scrum or Agile model, which I will which with a few changes, which I will cover little later. Okay, which I will cover little later. Maybe I wouldn't say it is Scrum is again more like this one. Okay, spiral model, but little changes are there. Okay, so yes, okay, it is being covered these days with a little modification. We are using it, in an iterative way, in an incremental way, but I'll come to that, Kavita. Okay, maybe tomorrow when we discuss about Scrum, or I've sent you the video, watch that video, then you know what I'm talking about, an iteration. There we are calling it as sprint in that video, Kavita, but watch that video. We will compare that with this model if required. Okay, but this is a iterative model. Okay, incremental model, which happens in different iterations. This is iteration 1. Okay, this is your iteration 2. What happened? This is your iteration 2. Okay, like this we have iteration 3. Okay, okay, then we have iteration 3 and iteration 4, and if there are more required, yes, there will be more iterations as well. Okay, are we okay with this, guys? All of you understood this? All of you understood this? Okay, so now any questions on this one, please? This is the time to ask. We have covered the waterfall model, we have covered the spiral model, we have covered the incremental model. Okay, any questions on this one before I go to the next model, which is very, very, very important, which we call it as a V model. Okay, what we are calling it as V model, which is very, very important. Okay, any questions before I jump into the V model?
There are advantages and drawbacks of this model.
um Advantages, obvious advantages will be there, which things are happen parallelly. Okay, so it's less time consuming, so obviously there's less money. Okay, that is the advantages. Disadvantages is it's very, very complex. Things are happening parallelly. Whoever is monitoring this project, he will have a very tough time monitoring the project. Okay, so and then usually this kind of model is used when there are a lot of requirements and there is a lot of work and things are happening. Huge organizations with bigger projects use this kind of incremental model. Okay, this is generally used by them, but again, less time consuming, okay, less costly, but very difficult to monitor the one. Okay, understood, Kavita, or whoever has asked the question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but again, I'm telling you, these are not the only models which are available in the market. There could be a lot of models like fish model, prototype model, uh, there's so many rapid model. Okay, just go ahead and browse those models as well, because we cannot cover each and every model in the class and not required as well. Okay, what is important for you to know is the Scrum, Agile Scrum and V model, which I will be obviously covering as a part of the class. Okay, now the next model is the V model, which is very, very important. And I want you to pay utmost attention, and there are a lot of questions asked in the V model. Okay, they will ask you, okay, you said you have been working as a software tester or manual tester for last 4 years. What is the model that you have used for your project? You should be able to draw the picture, explain it to the interviewer. This is 100% uh, question. Okay, if you're saying that you are following the agile model, you have to talk about it. If you're saying you're following the V model, you have to talk about that. Okay, so agile model is generally sorry, V model is generally being used even today, so you can confidently say that you have used the V model. Okay, then I'll be explaining exactly what happens in the V model. Things happen parallelly. Okay, so you can explain that. Okay, and agile model also, I've already sent you the video, but very complex agile model to understand and to explain to the interviewer that you have done it. You should have practically seen it so that you can confidently talk about it, but you haven't seen it, then it becomes little difficult watching the videos and explaining it to him. So it's safer to say that you have used the V model, which I'm going to talk about it in the next one. Okay, please pay attention. Now that that is very, very important, should I cover the V model now or tomorrow? And once I start the V model, it takes typically half an hour to 45 minutes to complete the V model. Now, everybody tell me clearly, are you in the best mood to listen to that V model? Because it's 100% interview question, I'm telling you. Nobody will say explain about the V model. Okay, definitely they will ask you in your project which model you have used. If you say water model, it's gone, because the interviewer himself knows that nobody is using it, how these guys are using it. Okay, so you have to say that it's a V model, and you have to explain them how the V model works. So tomorrow, okay, so tomorrow, if somebody is taking off, please cancel that. Please make sure you attend the classes, because again, I'm telling you, 100% interview question. There are some questions which will come 100% in the interview, like tell me about yourself, tell me the last project, and the next question immediately, or the next subsequent question will be, which model you have used for your project, can you please explain the model? Okay, should be able to draw that picture V and tell. Okay, so tomorrow, most of them are saying tomorrow. So tomorrow, before starting the V model, first we have to talk about the verifications, then validations, then go for the V model, and after that we will go and talk about the agile models as well, as much as we could. I'll try to explain the agile model. Okay, but later on you can do more research. There are a lot of videos on Udemy you can purchase, and try to get as much understanding as possible on the agile. Okay, so that you can confidently talk about it in the interview. Okay, so thank you guys, thank you for joining. Any further questions? Should I stay, or can I leave? Please tell me if you have questions. Yes, certainly I'm here to answer those questions. And one more thing, tomorrow I have to take my dad to the hospital again, which is a follow-up clinic, this thing. If the things gets delayed over there, I might cancel the class or start the class little late. Okay, I want you to be aware of that. Okay, it's again the general checkup for the follow-up checkup which has happened 15 days back. Okay, so that's what it is. Okay, I'll keep you posted on the WhatsApp group. Okay, okay, looks like there are no questions, so I am, yeah, please go ahead.
Sir, I just wanted to ask that straightforward behavior makes a negative or positive impact on interviewer, sir. For example, I know every person is different, sir, but you have explained this type of models, so we cannot answer that this is not in use, then why are you asking this? Or we can explain that
you
likely
know
model.
I'll tell you one thing, guys. Okay, you're dealing with people, you are not dealing with the company or process. Okay, always remember. Okay,
Yes, sir.
the smartest guy will be understand the interviewer and behave accordingly. Okay, very important. Some of them are arrogant, they think that they are the interviewer and they can be totally arrogant and all that. Okay, so as Chanukya said, if the person is arrogant, you have to be little submissive. Okay, but answer it authoritatively, confidently, but you have to understand that person very carefully and behave accordingly. Okay, there is nothing like right and wrong. I'll take hundreds of interviews, my colleague take hundreds of interviews, but his behavior is completely different from mine. Okay, if a person is cocky, I'm okay with it, but along with that he should have the stuff as well. If he doesn't have the stuff, that will tick me off. Okay, and immediately I will reject him. So interviewer is a person, you understand that person, you pay attention what he is thinking, and accordingly you behave. Okay, but one thing,
Uh,
whoever is the interview, you have the stuff, they will like it, they will like you, and that's why they are there for. Okay, but there is nothing like right and wrong, and you have to be. But don't be too straightforward. Again, I'm saying, once you're that straightforward, right, you should have that kind of stuff as well, to back it up. And he will get into the attention, and he will ask those questions, very complex questions may happen. Okay, so again, you're dealing with the humans. You have to be very subtle, you understand. Not only that guy. Okay, let's say you wanted to go impress a girl. Okay, it's a human being. Okay, so you have to play accordingly, like girl one cannot be like girl two. You want to go impress your boss. Okay, boss one cannot be like boss two. Accordingly you have to behave and then do it. Okay, so just like any other things, how you deal it here, also you have to deal with it. But there are certain things you have to keep in mind, brother. You have to dress up very neatly. Okay, typically, like, complete formal dress up, and wear little light shirts. Okay, even if it's a woman or a man. Okay, whatever it is, dress up very important. Okay, boy or a girl, very important. And perfumes, whatever it is, don't use strong perfumes. Okay, use very light perfumes, and go as fresh as possible with neatly combed. Okay, again I'm telling, boy or a girl, first impression is the best impression. And when you give the shake hand, okay, do it firmly, saying that I'm here to get the job. Just with the shake hand, he should get that impression that, okay, I'm here to, I'm not here for fun. I'm here to, I'm here for business. That's what should be conveyed using the use body language. And again, uh, communication is somewhere I have said, somewhere I have read. Okay, communication, okay, is 56% or whatever it is. Okay, communication, body language. Okay, okay, so somewhere I've said, okay, uh, communication is all about the body language. It is only 8% is what you speak. Okay, remaining 92% is your confidence level and your body language. Okay, so always make sure that your body language is, good, relaxed, okay, and confident. Okay, uh, not everybody will answer every question. If you're not able to answer it, okay, just say that, I didn't get a chance to work on it. Okay, what's a big deal? Okay, don't get underwhelmed and panic, and then your body language is completely going down. You should not do it. Okay, so again, are you whoever is asked the question, have I answered it?
yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, again, the body language is extremely important. Okay, so the
Okay.
communication is all about, the communication skills is 30%, what you speak is 5%, remaining 56% is all body language. So make sure your body language is relaxed, not only for the interviews, in any general thing. Okay, you are going, body language speaks a lot. Okay, you want to impress your boss, you want to impress a girl, you wanted to impress the interviewer, whoever it is, body language is extremely important. Okay, again I'm telling you. So yeah, that things needs to be done, but all this will be worked out once you have the stuff. The technical stuff is there, all these things can be taken care of. Okay,